What is it? What's that thing that takes an improviser from being good to being like Tina Fey, Poehler, Keegan-Michael Key great? Well, I think that success leaves clues, so I spent the last few days going deep into interviews with comedy legends, and I came away with 11 improv tips that I think by the end of this video will give you a toolkit of proven, real, actionable things you can bring to your very next scene. Welcome back to PVImprov, where I help you take your improv from anxious and awkward to creative and confident. I am, as always, your host, Paul Vaillancourt, so let's begin. This first tip is from Jason Mantzoukas, and he's talking about the very nature of improv.
Improv is funny, but it doesn't have to be. You know, just being funny isn't enough to hold an audience's attention for 30 minutes to an hour. You know, just being funny it satiates the audience's thirst for a laugh. They came to a comedy show, they want to laugh, and it makes the performer feel as though they're doing their job right. But it's actually not the most important thing. And it oftentimes can get in the way of good scene work or a good show, because if you're pursuing laughs instead of building a good scene with your partner, you're sacrificing the show and the scene for personal glory.
This tip unlocks so many core ideas about improv, like don't go for the joke. But it also echoes something that Del Close used to say, and I'm going to paraphrase here. He didn't feel that our responsibility was to be funny. He felt that our responsibility was to not be boring. And he felt that improv can and should elicit all kinds of emotions from the audience. Now, if you take all of that in, that can't help but affect how you approach the work. I tried to order these tips in a way where each one builds on the one before, and I left the links to the full interviews in the description down below so you can go back and watch the full videos, which I highly recommend. Next up, Colin Mochrie talks about some of the most basic skills of improv that are very challenging for beginning improvisers.
The thing about improv is you have to do everything that you're not used to doing in real life. The two basic rules are listening and accepting people's offers. And, you know, when we're teaching improv, that is, for new improvisers, the hardest thing in the world for them to do is to say yes to something. They immediately put up roadblocks.
I could not agree more. Having taught hundreds of classes over the years, this is something that comes up again and again for beginning improvisers. And if I'm being honest, even for improvisers who have been at it for a while, it is the toughest pill to swallow. But when we say yes, we throw open the doors to adventure. This tip is so basic and so primal. It is the hero's journey. Yes, I'm going there. The hero is in his village. He's kicking around. He's rejecting the call to adventure, and things are getting worse and worse and worse until finally he says yes to the call to adventure. And things begin to change. And it's the exact same thing in your scene. You and your partner get in there. You're arguing back and forth. You're quibbling about lots of different ways to say no. But then finally, one of you says the magic word. Yes, an adventure is afoot. These next two tips from Matt Walsh and Pete Holmes go hand in hand, so we're just gonna roll them back to back. Here we go.
Ultimately, I think your point is like you are enough. You don't have to put on a show or develop tons more knowledge or fake anything. Like if you're in a scene, in an improv scene on stage, you have plenty of information in your brain and you have plenty of life experience. So just use that and respond how you would respond. If you held a gun to my head, then what would I do? I would go, I'll give you anything. Like that's what Matt Walsh would do. Like, I don't want to die. That's all you need. Just embody as well as you can this imaginary circumstance and just behave as if you were in it.
Like figuring out who you are is not only one of the keys to being happy and feeling fulfilled, but it's one of the keys to having like a really good comedy career. What makes you angry? What makes you sad? What makes you joyful? And bring all of that. This is Bill, I'm kind of reusing Bill Hicks's advice. He says, the more you are your authentic self, the more you'll have supply and demand covered. Because only you can be Jimmy perfectly. And only I can be Pete perfectly. So someone can kind of do the sort of stuff that I do, but they can't be the full picture of me. And anybody that's just doing an impression of me or an impression of you, they're not giving the real goods, and people can feel it.
You have plenty of information in your head and plenty of life experiences, and you are enough. What a powerful message for every improviser, no matter where they are in their improv journey. I agree with Matt. Sometimes we feel like we need to know more to legitimately participate in the scene, but I'll share a personal experience. I was on a team called Beer Shark Mice, and all the other guys in the team were super sportsy. They knew a lot about sports, especially obscure players for the Cubs and the Bears. So every once in a while, we would get into a scene that would be about sports, and they would start sort of messing with me a little bit, quizzing me or sort of testing my knowledge of these obscure players, which I did not know. So I didn't have the facts of that. Right? I couldn't participate in the factuality of that scene, but what I could participate in was the emotional human thing going on between us, right? And that's what I did. That's what I would lean into. I would sort of make it about relationship and make it about us. And I think the audience really enjoyed this meta game going on between the players, as well as the real game going on between the characters. And Pete reminds us that being authentic is really our superpower. It's what makes our improv special and unique and one of a kind. Oftentimes, beginning improvisers will ask me, well, how do I find my comic voice? I think that Pete is answering that right here in this tip. And both of these bits of advice remind me of my favorite improv saying, something I think about all the time. Being human is funny enough. Now, Tina Fey has a great reminder about something that so many people grapple with, especially when they're first starting out.
One of the rules of improv, though, is to make statements as opposed to ask questions, which in improv is just, if I say like, who are you? Why are you here? What should we do now? Then I'm putting all the burden on you, my partner.
It seems simple, but when you're in a scene and you feel lost, either maybe because you're new and things are happening so fast, or maybe because you got into a scene and you and your partner really haven't connected yet, you feel lost and you're searching for clarity. And so in the real world, we get clarity by asking questions. What time is dinner? Where are we? And so on and so on. But in improv, we need to realize that clarity doesn't just come to us. More often, it flows from us. We make statements, we make choices, we make decisions. This is a thing that is hard to get used to when we're first starting out, but it is an essential skill to master. Now, sometimes we're in a scene and we feel like we have no inspiration for this scene and we are just making everything up from scratch. But Dave Koechner has a really great tip that shows us that inspiration is all around us in a scene.
I mean, you look at your partner, they're giving you everything. But you can also come in, if you're a little worried about what you're going to do, you can divine something from a kitchen. What's in a kitchen? There's a blender, there's a mixer, there's a fork, there's a knife, there's a drawer. You can play any one of those things improvisationally, I will argue, okay? So you can use that as an archetype for you to deliver to the scene. Okay, say if I'm a knife, all right, what's a knife? What are its properties? Sharp, okay? So let's do the same thing. Plate's clean.
Great, thanks.
You're welcome.
I'm working the floor, so
Yep.
well, so
Always on that floor.
yeah, great. So all
Best man on the floor.
yes. So
You're on that floor, people snap too.
yeah, they do. So great. So you did the plate. You got
Did it twice.
I know. Great, and I
'Cause
really
I know you like it twice.
I do like it twice. I really
Plates
do.
are clean.
Yeah, it's great.
Do you see that difference?
I think that this is such a powerful idea. I mean, if you can grab the inspiration for your character from the idea of a knife, come on, you are surrounded by inspiration. Just grab an idea and go for it. And that is exactly what Michaela Watkins and Amy Poehler are talking about in these next two tips.
When I taught improv, I used to say to my students, like, jump off the diving board, because a lot of them are just like perched on the edge of it, They even in a scene let's just say the scene is about, this is a good example, is like, we always say, shoot the deer, shoot the fucking deer. Because you see students will always do this thing like, well, there he is.
Well, he's a big one.
Yeah, he's a big guy. I'm real nervous, are you sure?
Did you bring the bullets?
Yeah, exactly. I thought you had them. Well, I do. And you're just like, shoot the deer and deal with the deer. Like, your scene is so boring right now because you're just talking about this thing you're gonna do. And it's the same with jump off the diving board. Just see what happens. See what happens, because you're afraid that if we shoot the deer, the scene is over. No, but so many new exciting things can happen.
Can't be halfway in. When you see someone half commit to something, hell is the hallway, right? So there's no worse feeling than when you can't feel if somebody's in or out. That's what she said. Sorry. But halfway in is either dispassionate or like waiting to see. It doesn't feel great, and it also limits you from connection, experience, and being in the present moment.
One of the biggest things in my mind that separates new improvisers from experienced improvisers is their ability to commit. Just commit to the idea and do it now. Commit to your character and go all in on that, or just jump both feet into that crazy world that you just found yourself in. The more you can just do it, the more you can just commit, the more you can just go all in, the more you can just do it now and shoot the deer, the more engaging and exciting your improv will be. Let's start now. If you're enjoying this video, hit that subscribe button, go all in on that so you don't miss any great improv tips coming your way. Keegan-Michael Key offers some great insights on how improv actually works.
People think that improvisation is moving forward. What improvisation really is, it's walking backward. And while I'm still looking at you, like right now I go, oh, I'm here with Sam Jones. Now as I back up, I see there's a light there. Oh, what's the light? Oh, that's a set. Oh, I'm on a set. Oh, so Sam Jones must be a person who works on a set. Then I keep backing up. I see this chair. I see that chair. I go, oh, he's an interviewer. Then I keep backing up to Nate and I go, oh, that's the sound net. What's this room? Oh, this is like a small show. It's backing up that gives you discovery.
Giving the larger worldview.
Yes, as you back up, you can create a larger worldview. People think it's moving forward. People always go, I can't think that fast. No. Don't think that fast. Just listen to the last thing he said.
I remember when I first started improvising, someone described it as driving 100 miles an hour, only looking in your rearview mirror. I think that's really good, but I think that Keegan's might be a little bit better because not only does it help us with the slippery idea of improv and how to get our hands around it, but he also brings it home at the end, reminding us that it's not about thinking fast. It's about paying attention, it's about listening, it's about responding to the last thing that your partner just said. If you do more of that, you will be a better improviser right away. Now that you've got some great tips about doing scenes, Chris Gethard takes it one step further, exploring the idea, why are we doing this scene?
I always ask people to answer these 3 questions when they're improvising. Why these people? Why right here? Why right now? I always just drill that. Why these people? Why right here? Why right now? Meaning, if you're in a scene and there's 2 people, and you're talking about people who aren't here, like they're not here. They probably aren't the most interesting thing for an audience to hear about. If you're talking about a different location than the scene, the one the scene's taking place in, then why isn't the scene unfolding there? It sounds more interesting. Why are you teasing an audience? So, and another thing too, people often go like, hey, you'll never believe what's inside this briefcase. And it's like, well, that's invisible. Let's just talk to each other. Us, things we can find, common ground, whether that's positive things, disagreements we might actually have. Why are these people in this location at this time? Why is this the scene we're choosing to show the audience? So the more we can just make things present between the people right there, the less the audience has to suspend their disbelief and imagine, the better the listening's gonna be and the harder it's going to hit. And what we find when that happens in improv is your simple choices can actually get huge reaction.
I love Chris's advice here because he puts the human relationship at the center of the scene, and I'm a big fan of that. I believe that the scene is always about what is happening between these 2 people in this moment as we're watching. This next clip is talking about the idea of playing off the top of your intelligence. Now, this is a piece of feedback that we often get when we're first starting out in improv, but we get very little guidance on how to do that exactly. Well, Ben Schwartz has got you covered.
One of the things that I tell people is to go for your joke that you think is funny that you don't know if anybody else understands, and let the audience, like, one of the big things that I was always taught when I took classes, play to the top of your intelligence. Always play to the top of your intelligence. Like, and whatever like crazy thing you can do, like, or think of that makes sense to you, say it, and you'll find people in the audience that like it. I like that a lot.
So now you've got 11 tips to upgrade your improv, but how do you use them to build a full, satisfying show from beginning to callbacks to blackout? That's where Ben Schwartz's 7 essential rules of improv come in. In that video, I walk through how he builds his amazing long-form improv shows. Check it out here. In the meantime, have fun and make your partner look good.